This is the soul behind the curtain, a safe space where you don't have to perform, where we explore what's real beneath the patterns, beneath the roles, beneath the masks, beneath who you've been programmed to be. I'm Lulu, and here we shed the layers and learn to accept our truth. A few years ago, if you'd asked me what I wanted from life, I would have answered without hesitation. I had different dreams, plans that I worked really hard for, goals that I believed would finally make me happy. But something strange happened. The moment I truly decided to change, not just my circumstances, but myself, everything began to fall apart. Do you ever notice that? The moment you decide to change your life, everything crumbles around you. Relationships become harder, opportunities disappear, dreams that you've held onto for years suddenly don't even feel like they're yours anymore. It almost feels like the universe is pushing you back. At some point, I thought to myself, what if all my decisions were a mistake? But what if that's not what's happening? What if life isn't punishing you? What if it's introducing you to yourself? Today, I want to talk about why I think that moment isn't failure. I think it's the beginning of ego death. What is ego death? When I say ego death, I'm not talking about losing your personality or becoming someone else. I'm talking about the gradual death of an identity that no longer serves you. Our ego is not inherently bad. If anything, we can use the shadow self and the ego to enhance our progression. Ego is the collection of our beliefs about ourselves, the roles we identify with, the stories we've repeated, expectations we've internalized, and survival strategies we've developed over years. For example, I'm the strong one. I'm only lovable when I please people. Success defines my worth. These aren't personality traits, they're identities. And that's why change feels so painful. Our nervous system has one primary job: keep us alive. Not happy, not fulfilled, alive. Because of that, the nervous system loves predictability, even if what's predictable is unhealthy. This is one of the most important ideas. Imagine someone who grew up in chaos. Chaos becomes familiar. Then they meet someone healthy. Their nervous system doesn't inherently think, finally, safety. It sometimes thinks, this is unfamiliar. And unfamiliar feels threatening. That's why people often sabotage healthy opportunities, healthy relationships, healthy partners. Not because they don't want happiness, because their nervous system mistakes familiarity for safety. Why does change feel like destruction? What is it about trying to make your life better that sends you into the pits of hell? During my work as a psychologist, I have a lot of clients coming to me with the intention of wanting to change their life and heal themselves. But they all end up telling me the same thing, that the moment I decide to heal, everything starts getting worse. That the moment I start therapy, now I'm crying all the time and I can't go to sleep. That I finally set boundaries and people are getting angrier with me and demanding more from me. That I thought changing would make life easier. But maybe easier was never the promise. Change threatens familiar patterns. Our brains and nervous systems often prefer what's familiar over what's healthy. Even unhealthy identities can feel safe simply because they're known. When we stop people pleasing, stop chasing external validation, or stop living according to old rules, there's often discomfort. Not because we're doing something wrong, but because we're leaving behind what once helped us survive. Sometimes we mistake losing ourselves when we're actually losing the version of ourselves that no longer fits, that is no longer in alignment with our highest self. Why everything collapses. This is the bridge into ego death. When you decide, I'm no longer going to betray myself, your old identity starts losing its purpose. Suddenly, certain friendships no longer fit. Old goals feel empty. Jobs become unbearable. Relationships become strained. People often interpret this as everything is falling apart. Yet another perspective is everything is reorganizing and aligning to my best self. Rock bottom. When you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. Rock bottom often feels like the end because it's the lowest point your old identity can sustain. Sometimes the ground beneath you isn't there to destroy you, sometimes it's there so you can finally stop digging. When you've lost the approval, the mask, the identity, and the illusion of control, something interesting happens. There's suddenly space. Not comfortable space, but honest space. From there, you begin rebuilding, not from fear, but from truth. Identity isn't just personality. Identity is a habit. It is a memory. Identity is a nervous system and relationships. Identity is expectations. And when one changes, everything else has to reorganize itself. That's why change feels chaotic. Remember that a person's capacity for growth is directly linked to how much truth they can face about themselves without running away. The more a person denies and suppresses their authentic self, the more psychological issues tend to come to the surface. When there's a significant discrepancy between one's identity and the masks they present to the world, a void, very similar to a black hole, starts filling with emptiness, despair, and disconnection. Perhaps your garden may not be growing because whenever a flower begins to bloom, you rush to pick it out just to prove to others that you are a gardener. What if this season isn't asking you to fight harder? What if it's asking you to let go of a version of yourself that no longer fits? What part of your life feels like it's collapsing right now? Could it be that something isn't ending? It's making room. In my opinion, as a Muslim, one of the things that gives me peace is the distinction between a punishment and a test. I don't believe hardships are punishments. Sometimes hardship is the path through which we're taught, refined, or redirected. It's not punishment if it's a lesson. Not every hardship has the same meaning. Sometimes growth asks us to release what we've outgrown. And trust in Allah can change the way we move through uncertainty. How we can surrender, have patience, and yaqeen. I believe that our lives are spirals, little circles stacked on top of each other. Once a circle is complete, a cycle is done, and it's broken, and we move on to the next circle, and we just keep moving upwards into the spiral until we reach our highest self. If you're spinning in the same circle, you're refusing to learn and get out of that cycle and close the loop. You have to be able to get that done in order to move upwards into the spiral. In my own life and in my faith, I've come to see that not every collapse is a punishment. Sometimes it's mercy wearing unfamiliar clothes. Sometimes Allah removes what we've been desperately holding onto because He knows it no longer aligns with who we're becoming. Allah prepares our nervous system to receive more. As we heal, regulate our emotions, and develop greater resilience, our capacity expands. We tolerate uncertainty better. We recover from setbacks faster. We stop living in constant survival mode, and when we're no longer consumed by survival, we often become more open to opportunities, healthier relationships, money, and possibilities we couldn't fully engage with before. From my perspective, I see that growth as part of Allah's wisdom. As we become stronger and more grounded, we become more capable of carrying what we've been praying for. Growth doesn't usually arrive as an invitation, it arrives as an interruption. Emotions, whether sad or happy, are keys. And once you are able to use these keys, you can unlock trying to understand your triggers and the things that drive you to feel certain ways. This week, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what is this trying to teach me? What is this season asking me to release? Sometimes the life we're praying for begins with saying goodbye to the life we thought we wanted. Thank you for stepping behind the curtain with me today. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who's learning to trust the process of becoming. Until next time, keep questioning your patterns, keep embracing the truth, and keep listening to the soul beneath it all.